everybody. My name is Elisa Capitanio, and I'm the lead product designer for Storyful. I'm going to talk about designing from unpredictable content. And just to give you a context exactly of what it means, I have to explain you a little bit about Storyful. So Storyful is a company that was founded in 2010 by Mark Little, which is an Irish journalist and broadcaster. And he basically saw news unfolding on social media way faster than traditional news sources. He saw an opportunity to bridge the content that was coming from social media and news providers in a way for them to find context and truth and separate fact from fiction. We are a social media intelligence and news agency. We use unparalleled access to data, proprietary technology, and sophisticated analysis. What does all this mean? Basically, our journalists and analysts investigate different sort of conversations across digital platforms, from mainstream platforms to fringe networks, just to make a sense of what's going on in social media. I'm going to give you an example of exactly what our team does. I guess everybody here is familiar with what happened, unfortunately, in Notre Dame Cathedral a couple of weeks ago. I'm just going to show you, if it works, a video that was live streamed. Obviously, it's not on the right time. And the exit is obviously covering. Move it up.
We tested this earlier.
Yeah, exactly, and obviously it's not working. But the exit is covering the time, so just put it up. Yeah. Okay, so you can see here a man is walking on one of the towers, and that's it. There are other instances throughout the live streaming where other people were walking around on the cathedral. Sorry, again. Okay. So what happened is that, unfortunately, what you probably don't know is that anyway, a low-quality video, that is the one on the left-hand side, was posted from on Twitter, and it was shared widely across the platform. It was claiming that a suspicious person could be seen walking around Notre Dame Cathedral. The video was recorded from live coverage in a very poor quality and posted on Twitter on a Twitter account on the 15th of April, the day of the fire. With the caption, "No workers on site, who the F is this?" A bunch of speculations went on the day. The account went on also to claim that the unidentified person was seen in the video was not clergy looking enough, not a firefighter, and definitely not wearing a high-vis jacket. Anyway, the Twitter video was shared across multiple platforms, mainstream platforms like Facebook and YouTube, but also other platforms like fringe platforms like 8chan, 4chan, and Gab. And the users were really quick to claim that the fire was caused by arson, and that the person in the video was either a yellow vest or a Muslim. It's very weird. Anyway, other people questioned that the person could be someone else. It definitely didn't look like a firefighter or a Catholic priest. These are a bunch of screenshots we took from our different applications. We have that analyze different tools and different networks. The content is really, really bad. Anyway, I'm not going to go read through them. But this is just really few screenshots of some of the platforms we analyze. And this was happening live still while the mainstream was going on. In the meantime, in Australia, some politicians obviously offered their help in support of the wake of the devastating fire, but far-right groups used the opportunity to spread anti-Islam sentiment and conspiracy theories on social media. The low-quality clip was shared on a bunch of different Facebook pages and then also on other more dodgy sort of websites. I'm not going to go through all of them because they look awful. The content is awful, but they're trying to blame anyway the fire for basically saying that the fire was caused by arson, and one of the comments says definitely 100% Muslims, and it's all of their fault. Obviously, Storyful doesn't associate in any sort of way, or myself, we don't associate in any sort of way with this sort of content. We just are really unfortunate that we have to analyze it. One of the most funny ones is that the one on the right-hand side, Notre Dame fire is a reminder to all of us that the danger of climate change. This is obviously fake, and it's used, it's actually a fake account with the name of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, which is a US representative for the state of New York. So as you can see, it's really a bunch of different theories, a bunch of different conspiracy theories, and all of this anyway is to show you the volume and the spread from France to Australia of these conversations, and it's just to give you an idea, an example of the importance of going beyond the mainstream platforms such as Facebook and Twitter, where really lies a vast landscape of social networks that vary in privacy access, user behavior, and content creation. There are billions of conversations and opinions that are shared every day on these platforms. And as we've seen on the case of Notre Dame, the conversations on fringe networks tend to influence mainstream platforms when the volumes are really high. We use a lot this reference of the iceberg in Storyful. We don't really like it, but we still use it because it's really an easy way for people to understand how very little we understand about social media on our daily base, and Storyful tools are created to analyze all the content that goes in the fringe networks and in the dark web. So all the tools we have are obviously very interesting, and they give us the opportunity to discover a lot of content, but they definitely come with a bunch of challenges. So this translates in the work we do with the fact that all our content is completely unpredictable. It comes from very ugly social networks or comes in embeds, and we have absolutely no control over it. You know, as designers, you're often told about that mythological land where the text aligns perfectly and the pictures are all exactly the same size. We definitely don't live there. I'm going to talk about embeds. I just wanted to have a nice picture once in a while. Cute puppies. So embeds are one of the most important parts of the work we do in Storyful. The volume of the conversations and where they spread from means that our tools have to analyze loads of different platforms at the same time. This is an example of one of the tools we have. It really creates a visualization in the cards, especially on the right-hand side. You can see those are fringe platforms that we pull the API and we visualize them on our platform as cards to resemble a little bit more usual embeds. This is done to make life of our journalists and analysts a bit easier. And obviously, embeds are, I don't know, they're very difficult to to have in text or when you have a story. It's very difficult to have them. They are very unpredictable. You can never display, you can never foresee how long they are going to be. They might vary in terms of presence of text or just an image. An image could be very vertical, as you guys can see from the picture of the puppies. Otherwise, they could be like this. But the problem is that embeds are not forever, so they're pulling content that might be there for a while, and then it's just gone. So while we do give our internal users the opportunity to review them, especially on a tool like this, then if the content is gone and the content is present on a story that is public, is client-facing, we have to have a backup, so they have to be screenshot. Another problem that comes with working with embeds is sensitive content. This is a screenshot for Twitter videos. So if the uploader ticks on upload that the content is sensitive, then you have to click and then you just go on and you can see the video at your own risk, basically. Our main tool that is client-facing is Newswire, and obviously because we embed text and content that comes from other social media, we don't know if something is going to have a layer on top. We have absolutely no control over it, and we can't touch the embed. So the only way around for us was to add a card or a sort of a warning in the page. What we usually have, and obviously I'm not going to show you the actual video, because as you can see from the title, it's not pretty. But what we usually do is we have the video on as the first item in the page. So it would be the first thing you see in the page. But in this specific case, when our users, when our journalists flag something as graphic content or sensitive content, the item goes immediately down in the page, and we have this warning in the page. We wanted to add a pop-up, a modal in the page, but we have other actions, so we thought that having something very visible as soon as you open the page could just really help our users. The last point is about content accuracy. So a while back, we launched a map feature for our client-facing tool. Basically, during the Yellow Vest protest in France, we really wanted to show how the protest was moving across the country. As soon as we launched the feature, unfortunately, we noticed that we had a problem because all the stories we had in a specific collection had exactly the same location. We obviously had no control over it because each story that was coming from different social media was tagged as Paris. So basically, we had a cluster of 50 stories, all of them exactly in the same location. And basically, it would be like if you were on Airbnb trying to book a room and in New York, for example, and all the results were, I don't know, on the Empire State Building. Definitely not very helpful. So then we obviously discussed this problem with our news team, and they went in and manually updated the location of each one of these stories to be relevant exactly to the location where it happened. We have the content anyway because we have another field in the stories that is for the exact location. So we're not pulling the location of the uploader, we're pulling a location that we input manually. And this is what you can see now. If you zoom in closer, the little cluster, the blue clusters, show the exact position of the story. So definitely for us in Storyful, we had to learn to design with content in mind, because content for us is just super unpredictable. Definitely there is no arguing about the importance of aesthetics, and there is definitely no one can undermine the work of designers. But we had to start looking at design in the context of content for the whole process to be more wholesome. It was important for us to grasp the idea that design is a tool used to present valuable content to our users, but both user experience and content have at the same time the same goal, and they could never be as strong apart as they are combined. As designers, we really tend to design for an ideal world, but in Storyful, we've learned that we have to design for the worst case scenario. I know it sounds a bit depressing sometimes, but because the earlier we identify these kind of challenges, the sooner we can find the solutions for them. Thank you.
Do we have any questions? So just to let you know that we're debating between every city who are the most interactive. So you'll get feedback on that at the end.
I know it's very specific to Storyful, but
it is
yeah.
very specific. That was going to be my question, was how did this compare, because you did UX design for Microsoft. How did that work with Storyful compared to Microsoft?
Well, definitely very different. In Microsoft, it's a massive company, and there are so many rules, so many. Even if you think about how Xbox looks like in terms of communication, is different from communication that happens for Surface. They're completely different products internally. They're treated very differently. To be honest, when I started in Storyful, I couldn't really understand what we were doing, what we were analyzing. It's a completely different sort of communication. In Microsoft, we are definitely analyzing products. We were making sure that the product was able to sell. I was working for the online store, so that was definitely our goal. In Storyful, you have to have an understanding of really what is the volume of these social media conversations. You have to understand where they come from, to understand different sort of events. There is a very interesting TED talk that was given very recently about the amount of responsibility that Facebook has had during the Brexit vote, whatever you think about it, but it's understanding volumes of conversations online just really is an eye-opener in terms of what is going on in the world and why. So going from product to analyzing stories online, it's definitely very interesting and challenging. Thank you.